Things have changed here dramatically in just the last half hour for a number of reasons. About a few hours ago, there were thousands of protesters. Now there are a few hundred. And in the last about 10 minutes or so, a group tried to go and continue to march over on Ashland and Washington to continue that march that they did already today, start a new one. Chicago riot police are now in place and actually pushed back some of that crowd that is now at this southwest corner of Union Park. We will show you now exactly what happened earlier today during those protests that were mainly peaceful. The permanent protest, several thousand strong and at least 4 blocks long, started again at Union Park before stepping off on Washington and looping through the west side, past Park 578, up Damon and east to Lake. The message from organizers:
stand with Palestine, stop the genocide, end U.S. aid to Israel. The Democrats have to hear us. The whole world is watching as we've been chanting.
The massive crowds flanked by an impressive show of police force. Chicago Police Superintendent Larry Snelling at the head again tonight with hundreds of officers, some with helmets and face shields, all holding the line. We did see 2 smoke bombs, one white, one green, let off at 2 different times along Lake, but it wasn't enough to provoke a police response from our vantage point. Important to protesters who say they want their message heard.
We are asking for an end to violence, and so that is apparent in the way that we're conducting ourselves. We want the DNC to know that we mean business.
Celebrating, shouting, and cheering at the corner of Ashland and Lake as the protest finally made its way back to Union Park. And again, most of those protesters have now dispersed, but there are about 100 or 200 that are still left here. The riot police, it looks like, are starting to move out after the protesters have been told to disperse and go north or east through Union Park. But right now, still a standoff in some ways with police as they wait for these protesters to leave. You know, there are questions right now whether they will allow them in the park to stay for as long as they want, or if they will be asked to disperse and the park will be clear. They have been asked to move out, and they are able to move. There's freedom of movement to go north or east through the park right now, but you see a huge police response right now at Ashland and Washington, where this protest stepped off a few hours ago earlier this afternoon. We've been covering this since about 6 o'clock today. That's where this protest stepped off, and now one single flag bearer with a black flag is still in the middle of the intersection, surrounded by police. We are watching the police response kind of move back, de-escalate a little bit. They did, riot police did end up pushing back some of those protesters, pushing them out. But right now things have calmed, and many of those protesters have either gone into the park, into Union Park, and a few of them are still right here at this intersection. But of course, we'll keep an eye on it for you.
Watch breaking news on YouTube. Subscribe to ABC7 Chicago Eyewitness News.